Hazy weather, cozy rooms, crazy people, lazy brutes or brats. Laziness, the crazy of being lazy. When you feel that you don't want to do anything, when you feel that today is not the appropriate day or the appropriate time, those are the characteristics of being lazy and having a lazy born person in our midst, or I myself becoming lazy. This crazy feeling that you feel that there is nothing I can do, it is worth nothing of doing, or it is just okay when I just relax and when I tell my body relax and don't worry about anything. This crazy feeling of inactivity, this crazy feeling of procrastination, and this lazy feeling that I cannot do it, I'm not able, I am not good at it, is very dangerous. And not only dangerous, but also sinful. Friends, once again, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Walter Reno from Eldoret, Kenya, East Africa to be specific. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for viewing, thank you for liking, and thank you for coming so far with me. Nowadays, people feel a lot of inactivity and feel a lot of being not able to do anything. Maybe it is because of the mental problem that we have around. Maybe it is because of the lack of optimism or lack of being enthusiastic that is making a lot of people not even feel that I can do something. Yes, people love lazing around. People love idling around. And you know this spirit is so bad, especially when you cannot even push yourself beyond your limits and beyond your comfort zones and say, now this is enough. I am pushing myself harder. When you don't feel that grit that you want to do something, then it is a bad state and a bad feeling and a bad situation. This situation of feeling lazy, I cannot even move at all. I'm even too lazy to wink. I'm too lazy to eat. I'm even too lazy to stand, too lazy to bend a little bit and maybe take something under the bed or take something under the table or under the chair. This feeling is a terrible feeling, and this feeling must be dealt with. So, friends, today we're going to talk about this craziness of being lazy in our generation today. And we are going to see what characterizes these people, that they want to feel lazy, they want just to enjoy things, and they just want to relax. And you know, one of the biggest characteristics is that they love sleeping so much. You feel that I should not wake up. And I once saw this crazy quote in a certain institution that how can you expect to be rich and you are lazy sleeping in your bed as if you're competing with the dead, and how can you get rich in the land of the living? It is impossible. Having said that, now let us venture into this topic and discuss the characteristics and the worst things that we can have and we can face, especially when we are idle, when we are lazy, or when we have a lot of inactivity. And you have a good health, and you have a good body, and you have a good mind, we have no excuse at all to be lazy. Friends, thank you so much, and let us now go on straight away. Now, one of the characteristics that many people have, and not realizing that it is taking them slowly to being lazy, is procrastination. Procrastination is that tendency of saying, I'm not going to do it today. Maybe I will do it tomorrow. I seem fit to do it other time than now. And you know, I have this philosophy that I believe it is true, that if you want to do something, do it now. If you want to begin something, begin it now. If it is a business idea, begin it now. What is the meaning of NOW? No opportunity wasted. We are not supposed to waste any opportunity that we've been given by any chance. Be it a business opportunity, even the spiritual opportunity of repenting, confessing, and even getting saved for those of us who believe in salvation. You know, simply means no opportunity wasted. If you are in school, no opportunity wasted. If you are doing business, no opportunity wasted. If you have a talent that you know God has given you a talent, or you have a special skill, the philosophy is now, no opportunity wasted. Most of the people try to procrastinate things because they feel and they see that I am not worth it, that I am not even ready for it. And you say, no, let me try another day. But by so doing, you are wasting yourself instead of maximizing what is called now. That is why even in Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8, the Bible, the Holy Scripture says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever, not tomorrow. So we don't know about tomorrow. We have today. Let us maximize today, and let us learn from the mistakes of yesterday and improve and become better people. This spirit and this tendency of pushing things forward and pushing things to other day, other week, other month, other year is a very dangerous problem. It is one of the major characteristics of lazy people or lazy brats. Very serious problem nowadays. And because it is a very serious problem, many people would like and would have to do things in their own way, thinking that they are saving themselves and thinking that following and having my own way is okay. But I want to tell you, it is so detrimental to your life, and it is so disastrous to your life. If you have something that is constructive, something that is of value, something that can benefit anyone, then the time is now. And the day is today. Now, I have several things that I would like us to see again that characterize people who are lazy, or characterize people who don't want to move even at all. Another thing that we see is that it is evident even at home. And when I read the scripture, I was surprised to see this in Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18 and Ecclesiastes chapter 24 verse 30 to 31. Let us read together and see in Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18. It is a very, very interesting verse that I would like us to see together and learn together in Acts chapter 10, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18. This is what it says. If a man is lazy, the rafters sag. If his hands are idle, the house leaks. Just imagine. It is evident even at home, especially for us husbands and especially for us men, that if you want to recognize a lazy and if you want to know that this guy is lazy, it is evident even at home, the way the structures look and the way even the fence and the farm looks. In Proverbs 24, verse 30 and 31 is another very crucial verse. In Proverbs 24, verse 30 and 31, this is what I read and really it was very stunning. It says in verse 30 and 31, even to verse 32, I went past the field of the sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. Then, in his understanding, what did he do? I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. In other version, it says like an armed robber. It is evident even at home. If you want to recognize and if you want to notice a lazy person, crazily lazy, it is evident even at home. Another thing that we see that is so very serious even in general life is even in the area where we work or where we are employed, at employment. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 4 talks of these characteristics of this guy, that he waits during the harvest time and he is expecting to harvest where even he did not sow, and he is expecting to reap. You know, guys, I've seen people going into offices, they leave their coats on that hanging coat hanger, and they just go walk about, roam around the town, roam around the streets, even including even in hospitals. Just imagine, people are sick and somebody needs your services as a doctor, and you just decide to hang your dust coat or you hang your coat and just go walk around. And then during the end month, you are expecting a pay. Friends, that one will not work. That you want to reap where you did not sow. You want to earn where you did not work for it. Friends, this spirit of laziness is even evident even at workplace. Another place that it is also evident is that it is even evident when we have the responsibilities of others, when we have to address others people's responsibility. You feel like I am not supposed to do or to work for this guy, or even to assist with anything to this or for this guy. And you feel that, no, I am just okay and I can do things my own way. It is not worth it. Another area is in the spiritual area. And that is why I normally say everything here on earth requires effort except the law of entropy or entropy. That things get weary or things get worn out naturally because it just stays. No? That things just wear out or they just tear out because they are not used. Unless you are useless, unless you have no value, then you can be allowed to just idle around, to just lazy around. Otherwise, we've been built to work. And that is why when God created us, he said, subdue the earth, rule it, have dominion. In other language, we need to work, and work. Friends, this is so real and this is so serious that work is what God gave us, and our bodies have been built and been wired to work and always to push through. Even in the spiritual life, we need effort. In 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 5 onwards, according to the NIV version, it says, make every effort to add to your faith at least 6 other ingredients that should be added. And you know, to add those things and to add those virtues requires what we need, requires what is called effort, so that we prosper even in our souls. And Apostle Peter is saying, make every effort to add. It is not just an easy thing. Add to your faith knowledge, knowledge wisdom, wisdom understanding, understanding self-control, self-control brotherly kindness. Add to them, because it is a matter of effort. If you don't push yourself, and if you don't have that grit to push yourself forward, then you're destroying yourself. Somebody came up with this word grit, that simply means for greatness to happen, greatness requires internal toughness. And I agree with them. I agree with those people who say that greatness requires internal toughness. Sometimes you need to be tough to yourself and say, no, I need to wake up. I need to just wake up. I cannot sleep. I just need to wake up and be serious with my life. And by so doing, you're pushing yourself beyond your limits, and you're pushing yourself to a better life. Another thing that we see, and it is evident even the characteristics of a lazy person, or the characteristics of a lazy person is evident even in the way he sleeps. And I said one bigger characteristic or characteristics of being lazy is sleep. Yes, sleep is good. Sleep is God-given. In fact, in Psalm 127, the Holy Scripture says, I give sleep. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5, he knows how to provide good food at the right time, even when you are sleeping. And most of the people would love to use that verse to justify their laziness. But it does not mean that. It means that you've worked so that whenever you go to sleep, something will be coming up because you've worked for it. This misconception that I can sleep and have money, this misconception that I can do anything, is not okay. Sleeping is good. I know of some people who sleep only for 3 hours. Just imagine 3 hours. You just sleep for 3 hours and then you are up again and running. Yes, we need sleep sometimes. It is good. You cannot deprive yourself of sleep, because sleep is like a debt. You must pay it. No matter how much you push yourself that I don't want to sleep, and you try to become a workaholic, friends, you need also sleep, but sleep should be moderated. There are those people whom I know that they wake up at least at 4 a.m. and they sleep as early as 9 p.m. in the evening, so that they have enough sleep and also they have maximized time to work. Yes, sleep is okay, but sometimes the way we sleep as if we are competing with the dead. Just imagine. People sleeping for 12 hours, half a day. Like that animal that I normally see in documentaries, koala. In the eucalyptus tree, eating leaves and then sleeping for 18 hours. My friends, sleep is sweet, yes, I know, but it should be moderated. One characteristic of sleep, one characteristic of a lazy person is what even English people have called him or her, sleepyhead. And sleepyhead is a very powerful name. That you are just a lazy born, an idle person. And as it says, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. Sleepyhead. When I was doing this calculation that people say this plus this plus this, like for example, attitude is equivalent to 100%, discipline 100%, fountain 100%. Then I came also to realize that also sleepyhead is equivalent to 100% being lazy and 100% being poor and 100% being valueless. I know there are some people who say, I have a creative idea and I can make money while sleeping. It is because you had a creative idea. Otherwise, nobody can say that I can just sleep and just earn. No, we need to work for it. So sleep is good, yes. And sleep is also sweet, and I can give even scriptural proofs that sleep is sweet. For example, in Proverbs 3:24, sleep is sweet when you lie down in peace and your sleep will be sweet. I love that portion of scripture. But there are this portion of scripture that I read that really touched my life. In Proverbs 19 verse 15, listen to what the scripture says in Proverbs 19 verse 15. Laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless man goes hungry. I repeat, that laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless man goes hungry. Deep sleep, go hungry. Shiftless, inactivity, obesity. I know maybe I'm touching on somebody, but I'm saying this with all due respect and with a lot of humility, that characteristics of a lazy person is deep sleep. 26 verse 14 or 24 in Proverbs 26 verse 14. In fact, you can just even feel the way the scripture is highlighting it. In 26 verse 14, it says the following: as a door turns on its hinges, like so a sluggard turns on his bed. Let me turn to the left a bit. Let me turn to the right. Let me see upwards. Let me lie on my belly. You are compared to door hinges, hinging from one side to the other. And you have that notion that, oh no, it is another morning. It should not be morning right now, especially when you hear people talk of Monday blues. It is because of laziness. It is because of just being lazy. Lazy brats, lazy bones, sleepy heads. The opposite is true. Those people cannot sleep, workaholics, sleeping for only 3 hours. Others, I understand, they sleep for 2 hours and they are up again and running. But the opposite also is true here. As a door turns on its hinges, so a sluggard turns on his bed. Bed is good. Yeah, fluffy, cozy, softy. And warm, you just want to feel very okay. But it is dangerous to our lives. It brings hunger and poverty. Another thing that we can see that characterizes this lazy bone or sleepyhead or crazy lazy person is this person will always want shortcuts and soft options. Shortcuts and soft options. They don't want to go through the rigorous process and progress of life. They want shortcuts and short options. That I can do this and I can do that and I will still feel okay concerning what I want to do. And that is why most of the people would love and would like to try gambling. And maybe in my next series, I'll be talking about gambling. Is it okay to gamble? Is it okay to do betting, gambling and betting? I would like to hear your views even before I come up with that video concerning gambling and betting. People nowadays want soft means, soft money, soft loans, and so forth and so on. Yes, it is good to have them if they are going to come in a soft manner, but when they are paying it in a very hard manner. I have seen people whom the auctioneers have come and collected everything in the house because they did not pay their loans and they did not even service their loans in time. And things were taken away. In fact, here in Africa, I've had people taking even your wife because you've not paid. you take somebody's wife for 2 weeks until he pays, and you never know what will be happening for those 2 weeks. My friend, people are crazy. People are just lazy. And it can happen to anyone. So, soft ways, soft means, sometimes shortcuts. We want to get quick money. We want to get quick riches. And we want to just have everything like an instant coffee. Like here in Kenya, we say pap. East Africa, pap means by just a snap of a finger, everything you have it. Everything is there. If you need money, snap of a finger. If you need anything, click of a button. Just there. Laziness. Crazy lazy people. Another characteristics of these soft option is that we have weird imaginations. When I read this portion of scripture, I was surprised in Proverbs 22, verse 13, that the lazy person says that there is a lion roaming in the streets. Proverbs 22, verse 13. We can read together in Proverbs 22, verse 13. The sluggard says, there is a lion outside, or I will be murdered in the street. They cannot dare, they cannot risk just to try out something. They just feel that, no, I'm just okay. And I will do whatever I feel like doing, because in the streets, it is dangerous. And what are you going to get if you don't go to the streets? What are you going to get if you don't dare? And I'm not saying that we risk even our lives. No. Risk something and try out something and see if it is working or not. Because if you have this wild imagination, crazy imagination, that the streets are not safe, that I've seen people try this and they ended up in losses. It is good to try sometimes. Try before you die. Try before you cry. It is good to try. Give it a try. Give it your best and see what will happen. And I love what Ecclesiastes says in Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read that. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, I think from verse 5 to 6. We are going to read that even as I come to the end of this video. And we are going to learn more together. Another characteristic that we see with these guys is that they put their life in free mode or free gear, or what we call autopilot. Let me see how life is going to plant me. Maybe I may blossom. I'm just free. I'm just there. If you just ask him what plans do you have, he's saying, I have no plan at all. I'm just there. That is a characteristic of a lazy person. A characteristic of a person who is an autopilot, that cause sera, whatever will be, let it be. I'm just rolling. I'm just okay. I'm just fine. So long as I have my meals and I have my shelter and I have my clothes, I'm just okay. I don't need to struggle. After all, we die. After all, chance and opportunities will happen anyway one day. And they have this autopilot, free gear life. Free life. Let it be. That is a very bad notion and a very, very bad idea. But you can just go free. Another thing is that they have no plan, no vision. They have no activity. No plan, no vision, no activity. They're just there. Yes, after having autopilot life, living your life on free gear. Yeah, then you say, I have no plan, I have no idea, I have no vision, I have no activity. And you know, here in Africa and in most countries here in Africa, we cry of lack of unemployment. And because the reason why we're crying so much is because of the lazy attitude that we have, or the lazy character that we always feel and have, that I cannot do anything. I just want to lazy around, idle around, because there's no activity, no plan, no idea. And you say, I'm just okay. May we cheer up and may we get encouraged and try something. Try something. Nobody will say that I have nothing to do. There is something, and the reason why you exist is because there is something that you have in store, something that God has given you that needs to be activated. Others need a little nudge so that they just wake up and so that they just realize their potential. You know, we need some push up a little bit. I understand Mother Eagle, when rearing the eaglets, will reach a point where Mother Eagle will dismantle the nest and cause unrest and instability in the nest so that they learn how to fly. Sometimes we will have to be kicked out of our comfort zones, kicked out of our cozy environment so that we work and so that we become active. Otherwise, these characteristics of saying no plan, no idea, no activity is dangerous and characterizes the nature and the character of a lazy person. Yes, we need to say this with a lot of force. We need to say this with a lot of humility, and we need to say this without fear of contradiction, that people need to push themselves and people need just to go out and work. Nothing comes easy. Personally, I have this belief that the miracle I know, and if I believe in miracles and you believe in miracles, you also agree with me that the best miracle and the sure miracle that I know is the sure miracle of hard work and trying your best. If you want to see a miracle, work hard. If you want to see something just blooming, work for it and you will see how it is going to blossom. Friends, I have written a lot of things here that will help us not to be lazy, and will also make us learn what lazy characteristic is. And another thing that we see here is that lazy people, my friend, they are good in giving excuses. And allow me to call these excuses fake, lame, meaningless excuses. A good example is the one that we've been given in the scripture. He says, there are lions outside there in the streets, and the streets are so bad. They always give excuses, false excuses and false reasons. Imagine others go to a point of even feigning sickness. In institutions, we've seen learners playing homesick. Others even fainting so that they just have an opportunity to go and enjoy themselves and just idle around at home. We've seen them and we know them, that they want to feign. They want to fake their sickness. Others even go ahead even to forge signatures and leave out. Others even go to an extent of feeling sabbatical leaves. Others go and feel even paternal or maternal leave for themselves, especially when the bosses are not around, they have a lot of excuses. And they just want to listen to good music and relax and say it is okay. Characteristics of a lazy, crazy person. You know, they make a lot of excuses. And they have this tendency of saying, an idea of saying, if you hurry me, I will not do it right. Let me take my time. Don't hurry me. I know my time is convenient and my time, I will do it at my convenience. And you know, they have that false notion that my own time, and if you hurry me, I will just spoil everything. No, we need to push ourselves beyond our limit. In Proverbs 15 verse 26 verse 15 to 26, if you have your scripture, we can read 25 verse 16 and 26 and 16. This is what it says in Proverbs 26 verse 15 and 16. That after saying that as a door turns on its hinges, so a sluggard turns on his bed. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He is too lazy to bring it back to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who answers discreetly. Imagine somebody is lazy even to eat. Can imagine? Lazy even to eat. Cannot even take a hand from the dish into the mouth and eat. What a lazy person. Just imagine. Sometimes we have this notion and we have these characteristics of saying, no, I cannot do it anymore. Another characteristic is pessimist or pessimism. Pessimism. And I love this quote that an optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty, whereas a pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. I don't want to add anything about it. I don't want to add even a single word, because a pessimist will always see difficulty in every situation, and an optimist will see opportunity in every difficult situation. This has helped a lot of people, and it is so real even in our generation today, that pessimists will give excuses and lame excuses and say, no, I cannot do it, I cannot continue. Another thing and another characteristic that we see of a lazy, crazy person is that he is living in a wishing world. I wish I had this. I wish I was in that position. I wish I was in his situation or in his position. They are just wishing and not doing. In fact, always willing but not doing. That is their characteristics. All in a wishing world, that always doing and always wishing and not willing, doing whatever he wishes or imagines. Another characteristic that we see is that life is boring, purposeless, and meaningless. That you feel that life has no meaning. It also characterizes this person who is lazy. That life has no meaning, life is boring, and I cannot even continue. Another thing is that they are conceited and they are blind in their lives. As we've read in Proverbs 26 verse 17, is that they are just deceiving themselves. They see themselves wise in their own ways. They see themselves wise in their own thinking. That they have the solutions, yet they don't even have a plan, a vision, or an idea. Conceited and blind in themselves. is another thing that we see with these people. I read this portion of scripture and I realized that it is another form of slavery. That those people who are sluggard, lazy, is that the diligent people will rule and the sluggards will be slaves. In Proverbs 12:24 is a very, very critical verse. And let us read together in Proverbs 12:24. It's so powerful. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in slave labor. Slave trade ended, but nowadays we have slave labor. And I'm sorry to say that Africans, in most scenarios and in most cases, have been used in slave labor. Not in all countries, but in some countries we've seen that they are being misused or abused even in labor, in workplaces. And because there's in somebody's country, in another place, then you have no say. Why? You are trying to fix your life, but now it is now fixed for you. That diligent people will rule, and sometimes they rule harshly, and sometimes they rule mercilessly. And you know, the sluggard will be there because you now become the slave labor, or you become a slave in that area. Another thing that we see concerning a characteristic of a lazy person is apathy or apathy. Apathy is that lack of interest, lack of motivation, and lack of enthusiasm in whatever you do. That feeling is so deadly that I don't have something to push me. I don't even see any reason why I should try anything. Lack of motivation, lack of interest, lack of enthusiasm in anything that we try to do. And that is why it has been said, if you love what you do, you will do lovingly what you are working for. So love, work, work, love. But today, if you don't have that love, and even you don't have that passion, apathy will kick in. That there is lack of motivation, there is lack of encouragement, there is lack of interest, there is lack of enthusiasm. You know, it is so real even in our generation today. You just don't feel to do anything, and you say, now even I cannot even mind my business. Another characteristic of a lazy person is that minding others people's business. Minding others people's business. Of course, MOYB says mind your own business, but the characteristics of a lazy person is that he minds other people's business more than minding his business so much. I don't know if I'm talking sense to anyone, or even talking sense even to myself, that you show love to others people's affairs. Yes, it is good, but sometimes when it is exaggerated, it is because you don't have anything for yourself to do. That is why you find time for others, and you find time for other things, and you forget about yourself. In life-saving tricks and life-saving tips, you need to save yourself first before even you save anyone. That is the philosophy, and that is the idea behind saving others and saving yourself. You need to save yourself first. And you know, these guys also are characterized with unfinished business, unfinished task. They begin something, they don't complete because of laziness or the spirit of laziness. They have an unfinished tasks, unfinished achievements, and they are always disappointed. And I borrowed from a scripture something that is so powerful in Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 35. And I'm going to read so that we learn together. In Luke 14, this is a very powerful verse that most people will begin things and will not finish. People start something, start a very big project, but they do not finish. In this context, we have Jesus Christ talking in the context of the cost of being a disciple. In verse 28, he's giving us an illustration to verse 35. And he's giving us three illustrations. One, he begins by saying, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it? For if he lays the foundation and is not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule him, saying, this fellow began to build and was not able to finish. Unfinished task, unfinished project, unfinished achievement. Or suppose another example, a king is about to go to war against another king. Will he not first sit down and see whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still long way off and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, any of you who does not want to give up everything, he cannot be my disciple. The last example, salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is fit neither for the soil nor for manure heap. It is thrown out. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Just imagine. Unfinished progress, lack of motivation, lack of interest, lack of enthusiasm will cause us some time to have an unfinished business, an unfinished task, and an unfinished achievement. And we end up in disappointments most of the time. We have read from the scripture that it leads to poverty, hunger, and even sometimes endless debt. Yes, we all have debts, but we need to work for these debts and we need to pay these debts. In 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 1 to 7, there was a widow there, and Elisha went to his house and said to her, I know you have debt and your creditors come and he needs his money. So you need to do something. And what was she told to do? Work. Just take your jars, fill them with just put some small oil, and they are going to overflow. Sometimes we need to see miracle while we work fast. And that is why I'm saying, if you want to see any miracle in your life, you need to work for it, and you need to work seriously for it. Finally, as I come to the end of this teaching, in summary, this is what we can learn. That being lazy is a waste of time, is a waste of life, and a waste of duty. Three things as I come to this conclusion. That lazy and being lazy is not only problematic to people, but it is also a sin. A sin because it wastes a lot of time. And you know, time is money. If you maximize time, it is going to be, it is going to produce, it is going to be fruitful, and it is going to be meaningful, and you'll see the value of every second, especially when you have something to do. Time will matter a lot. Number two is that we are going to have a meaningful life. The reason why we are alive today is because God has given us a purpose. And I don't know what is your purpose. Personally, I'm realizing my purpose slowly by slowly. And I want to live to my purpose, that I should be motivating, encouraging, and giving hope to people. And life is going to be meaningful and life is going to have value because we have that time. In Colossians and in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15 and 16, the Holy Scripture says maximizing every opportunity because the time is evil, and the life that we are living should be good because and should have meaning because we are here temporarily. Just imagine Jesus said in John chapter 4 verse 34 that my work and my food is work. Who are we not to work? My work and my food is to do my Father's will. And I believe that everybody has something to do. Nobody can say, I am here just for nothing and without anything to do. We have something that we can do. It also shows us that we are not supposed to neglect our duty. I am a father, I should work as a father. You are a mother, work as a mother. You are an employed person in that company, in that institution. Then we must work for it. We must also show that we are responsible in that duty that we've been given to serve humanity. If you're dealing with gadgets, a lot of diligence is needed. And I love seeing that this documentary where we see people manufacturing and processing things. When I see these videos, I really feel motivated that people should push themselves and work. Our bodies have been built to work and to rest at the same time. And for us to rest and for us to work, we need some regulation and moderation so that we have this balance that we need concerning sleep and work. Because one of the characteristics of being a lazy person is sleep, as I've said. As I promised, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 6 is a powerful verse that we should try our best and try everything. If one fails, at least the other can work. And I'm going to read this scripture so that we get motivated together. In Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 6, I love this portion of scripture because it has been also been used even in the business world, in world of competition. This is what it says in verse 6. Sow your seeds in the morning, and at the evening let not your hand be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. Friends, let us push ourselves. Let us not be crazy, lazy people, because you never know which one is going to work out. If you are singing, continue singing. If you are creating content, continue creating content. If you are doing business, continue doing business. If you are in any institution, continue changing the lives of those people that you are serving. Be it in school, be it in the hospital, be it even in a children's home, and wherever you are, just do something. Solomon gave advices in the scripture. Even Paul gave the rule that if anyone should not work, should not eat, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 7 to 10. Hard work will always pay. Hard work will always have a greater reward. And as I've said, in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 24, it is evident that diligence will make us rule. Rule our homes, rule our nations, rule our country, and even rule others. Whereas being lazy will make us like slaves. Until next time, I would like to hear your view concerning this entire video and concerning what you think and what do you believe concerning the idea of people being crazy lazy in our generation today. Feel free to subscribe, feel free to like, and feel free to comment and share. God bless you. See you next time.